now it's time for Swap My Culture.
Woo!
So if you listened to our last episode, you'll know that we gave each other a movie each to watch. So I gave you Spider Baby or The Maddest Story Ever Told.
Yes, you did. I gave you John Dies at the End.
Yes, you did. So should we start with that? Because I'm so excited to hear your thoughts on Spider Baby, and I don't want to spoil myself. I want to build that anticipation.
All right. Okay, so you start with... Okay, so what was your opinion on John Dies at the End, Liam?
I was not a fan.
Okay. I'm not sure what to raise with this. So what made you not a fan of it?
Right. So the director, Don Coscarelli, he previously has directed the Phantasm films, which I like. They're not amazing, but they're good.
Yeah.
So I was on board. I like the director. From what I knew of the film, it was a bit weird, it was a bit offbeat.
Yeah.
I normally like movies like that. It just, for me, I'm going to be honest, I didn't understand it.
Okay.
There was a lot happening that just didn't make a lot of sense to me. And I'm normally okay with movies being completely bonkers, but they have to kind of conform to their own internal logic.
Yeah.
And to me... Yeah, John Dies at the End didn't feel like it had its own internal logic. It just felt like it was being like, this is a weird idea, let's do this. I've got a weirder idea. Okay, we'll do that then. Wait a second. Hold the phone. Here's an even weirder idea. Great. Doesn't all necessarily tie together nicely and make a whole lot of sense.
Okay, that's fair. See, I think the reason then that I don't particularly see that in it, because this is one where I read the book first and then watched the movie,
and I haven't read the book.
Which is what and what you're saying leads me to the sort of idea that possibly, because I get what happens in John Dies at the End, and I think that might be because I've read the book. So when there's a gap in the film,
yeah, you know what that means.
It's this or it's that.
Yeah,
and to be fair, I like the guy that wrote it, and because he's a writer for Cracked.
Yeah.
It's the name of the character that he uses on Cracked.
David Wong, yeah. Yeah, so I was looking at the trivia for it after I watched it, and I saw that it was a Cracked writer, and I also saw that he was uploading a chapter each time to his blog.
Yes.
And that's why it's called John Dies at the End, to get people coming back to see if John dies.
Yeah.
I get that. It's just... That isn't necessarily going to work in a film, is it?
No, but
keep watching to see if John dies, and it's like, well,
no, but I don't think that's why they called the film that. I think that was just they were like, oh, that's what the book's called.
I'm just disappointed that the title is a lie.
See, no, but because I can't remember right in the film at the end, what happens?
Right, we are just for our listeners. Both of these movies we're going to spoil.
Yeah, I mean, John Dies at the End has been out for a while, and Spider Baby's been out for like 40 years.
Yeah. If you haven't seen them, we gave you plenty of notice. You should have seen them by now.
2 weeks.
Exactly. So, the end of John Dies at the End.
Yeah.
It turns out that Paul Giamatti's character, who's interviewing, is a ghost or something.
Oh, yeah.
A demon or something.
No, he's a ghost.
Yeah. And it ends with them playing basketball. And then there's a weird ball thing that takes them to another dimension, and they go into that, and there's like weird police officers there who ask for their help, and time moves differently in this dimension, and they're like, sure, we just need to go get some things, and then they just go back to their own dimension.
Yeah, and then they carry on playing basketball or whatever, right?
Yeah.
See, I really like that, because I can tell you don't. You sound so disappointed. But I really like the fact that it's like these normal guys, well, I say normal, they're not even normal, they're just like super loserish guys who get sucked into this crazy world, and then it's just them not wanting to be part of it.
So do they get sucked into that crazy world though? Because one of the other things is the timeline in the movie isn't very clear, because at one point they are exorcist-y type people, right?
Yeah.
Now,
is that right near the beginning?
Yeah, but I don't know, like, timeline within the movies world, if that actually is something that happens later than the rest of the events in the movie, after they've had all this experience, or if that's something that happens before everything. It just... I didn't.
No, I think that is... I don't think that takes place in the rest of the movie's timeline. I do remember that scene, and I think it's in the books as well. And I think it's like I don't know if it's meant to be like the fact that there's parallel universes and they're like just showing a segment of one of them or something.
That doesn't make sense. Like, that's not really... That's not... that's just not in the movie. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, alright, fair enough.
Like, I if I'm going to watch a movie, I don't then afterwards want to have to do a load of research to figure out what that movie was about, unless the movie is amazing like Donnie Darko.
Yeah, but even then you can't find out what happened in Donnie Darko.
Well, there's theories.
Yeah, exactly, but no one knows.
No, I'm happy for there to be theories, but if you're going to have a movie where you want people to go and start looking up theories afterwards, it has to be a bloody good movie. And John dies at the end. At times, it felt like a bit of a knockabout comedy. What I did like is there was a bit of a Evil Dead vibe to it, especially with the weird meat monster thing at the beginning.
Oh, right, yeah.
Again, not really sure what that was all about in the grand scheme of things, but it happens. That's what I think the movie for me is. I was watching it and it was just a load of stuff that happens, but it never really has consequence.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, the book is still weird, and it's got... I think most of the stuff that happens in the movie happens in the books. I think some stuff's changed in the movie. I think it was... I remember it being stuff that annoyed me.
So there's also... when I was looking up, there was a sequel to the book.
Yeah, this book is full of spiders. Really
yeah, I'm hoping they don't make a
I don't think they
sequel.
will. I don't think the film did particularly well.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
It just wasn't for me.
Yeah, fair enough.
I'm hoping your next recommendation is going to be better.
We'll see. So out of 5, what would you give John Dies at the End?
I would give it 2 spiders that you can only see out of the corner of your eye out of 5.
Fair enough.